Hi, this is a review of the RugGear RG500 unlocked cell phone. Basically, what you have here is a simple little cell phone that is pretty hard to kill, being in the fact that the case that it comes in is very similar to something like you would put on an OtterBox case for an iPhone, but it's also a waterproof case slash phone. So it makes it a pretty useful little phone to have around. And again, with all cell phones, it really depends what experience you're looking for and what you do with your phone. If you're constantly watching videos and you really love screen real estate, this isn't the phone for you, as it's got a 3.2-inch screen rather than, the larger 5-inch 4.7 and up, which you get on a lot of cell phones now. It's interesting reviewing this right about the time that Apple announced that their new phone is a smaller 4-inch screen again. So there are a lot of people who want smaller screens, and if you like small and indestructible, it's really hard to go wrong with this little RugGear phone, especially at the price point at about $250 being an unlocked phone. Now, the features on this is it has everything that I would think you would need. You've got a spot inside for 2 different SIM cards, and to get in, it's pretty simple. There's on the back here, you got a couple little screws. There's a little tool that they include for it, which is nice. You take those 2 screws out, you pull the battery out, and on the inside, you have a slot for 2 SIM cards. You can actually use this with 2 different services at the same time. So if you have a home SIM and a work SIM, you can handle both lines at the same time with this. And there's also room for a flash memory card in here. It can handle up to 32 gig, which is nice if you're looking to store a lot on the phone, especially music, something like that. Having the space really matters. The operating system that it's running on is KitKat. I believe it's Android 4.2 or 4.3. So it's not the latest and greatest, but I found the performance on the phone to be more than acceptable. It pops up with the opening screen. You push that to the side, and you have your apps. And just to give you an idea, we will go into the Xfinity app. It'll open up, and we can show you just a brief little bit of live TV there. We hit live television. We'll wait for a second for that. So it does a pretty good job. The ringer on this is quite loud. And if you're familiar with the Android operating system, you can pretty much do everything that you would expect to do. You've got access to the Google Play Store for all of the normal apps. I was just showing you the Xfinity app, but you can run Netflix, Amazon, whatever you want to do to stream videos. I mean, the screen is a little small for videos at 3.2-inch. But, if you're sitting on the bus or on the train and you want a little bit of entertainment, it's actually more than enough. The cameras on this phone are okay. I mean, they're not super. The front-facing camera is a 0.5 megapixel. The back-facing one, I believe, is a 5 megapixel. They'll both do a decent job if you need to get a picture of something, but there are cell phones with a lot better cameras, and I don't think that's really what you're buying here. What you're buying in this phone is the ability to have something that's nearly indestructible. If you're on a system that still uses push-to-talk, you can also use that with this phone. I don't know how many people are still using that, but for a time when I worked for a contractor, that was what they used, so it makes it a little bit easier. If you have something that is using the point-to-talk, you can do that. Otherwise, you've got a little flap here at the bottom, which you have to kind of pry this open. This is one of the things when you're dealing with a phone that is waterproof and dustproof, you're going to have these little rubber gaskets and that keeping everything safe. And there we go. Basically, the only connections you have under there are a little USB port where you plug in the charger and you have your headphone cable if you want to listen to headphones through that. It also has Bluetooth, so if you have Bluetooth headphones, you don't need to worry about accessing that little jack there for your headphones. One of the nice things I liked is that the little charger that comes with it, it's very simple USB charger, and it came with a variety of connections. This is the US connection, and we have a variety of other plugs that will work over in Europe and other places. So if you're using it for traveling, definitely a phone that I would recommend. You know, again, because it is so small, it's easy to keep in your pocket. You don't have to worry about it dropping. You don't have to worry about it falling into water. This is actually rated to fall into water up to a meter or two for over an hour, I believe, is the actual rating. It's an IP68, which basically means it's as dust-proof and as waterproof as you're going to get in a phone. And really, you don't have to worry about, doing stuff like that. It's not going to break the phone. It is going to make me have to stand up and pick up the phone. But it gives you an idea that this thing's nearly indestructible. That's the one nice thing. I know a lot of people don't like getting reviews from somebody like me that got the product in order to do the review on it. But when you don't have anything invested, you can throw it up against the wall. You can see what works and what doesn't work. And I don't think anybody's going to do that otherwise, because it would just plain be stupid. But when I'm doing a review, I want to test the capabilities of the phone. And if they say you can drop it from a couple meters on concrete, I'm going to drop it from a couple of meters onto concrete. And this definitely does what it says it will do. It has Wi-Fi on it, which is basically what would be expected. And it works with a wide variety of the cell networks. There's a listing on the Amazon page, which will be easier than me reading everything off to you. But otherwise, I think it is a pretty good phone. And again, we're at a time where people are going back to some smaller phones. So if you want a phone that is nice and compact, I think it's right about the right size. And I'm a big guy at 6'6", have a pretty big head, but this is a pretty comfortable phone to use, actually using it as a telephone. I know not a lot of people still make calls. Everybody wants to text, and we're hitting the volume there. To give you an idea, this is an iPhone 6 next to it. The screen, a little bit larger, but, a little bit, about half the thinness. But I wouldn't drop this on concrete from 2 meters because it would pretty much destroy it. So I like this from the fact that it is pretty much indestructible. You can run different launchers and everything on there. If you're not familiar with Android, they use launchers, which is basically an overlay of the operating system, which changes the way everything works, and it gives it a completely different vibe to it. You can change the way the icons look and how, basically you can create the perfect phone for you, like you would on most normal phones. You go flip through the different pages, have the different things. You have different widgets. In here, you can easily turn on the Wi-Fi on and off. You can access the apps that you have installed. You can put a weather app. There's a little time app. I know it's hard to see on there with the clock, but you can put the weather on there, get it at your fingertips at all times. The battery life on this is phenomenal. Probably helped a little bit due to the fact that it's only a 3.2-inch screen, and it's a very low-res screen. It's not going to be confused with a Apple Retina or anything like that, but it gets the job done. It is more than enough for most people that are using a phone. And if you're looking for something that is, pretty much as bulletproof as you can get in a phone, as far as not worrying about it falling on the floor, not worrying about it, if you have a swimming pool or if you go to the beach or something like that, this is the phone you want with you because no sand's going to get into here. And if it falls into the water, as long as you can get it, probably want to tie something to it so it floats, but it's not going to get hurt falling into the water. Using the little AT&T SIM, I did need a little device like this, which converted the AT&T SIM into this. So you may need a device that will do that. But if you're purchasing this on Amazon, know that there is no SIM card included. There's no service included. It's completely unlocked. So you'll want to also grab a SIM card for the phone for a service, or you can buy pay-as-you-go minutes through a variety of carriers. But overall, I mean, I dig it. I mean, it's a nicely sized phone. It's nearly indestructible. The performance has been great. As I was saying, the battery life lasts a long time, probably because it's a small screen, but it will actually go hundreds of hours in just standby mode. So if you're traveling again, if you're taking this out where you're just using a phone for emergencies or something like that, a nice long battery time. And the battery can be popped out of here. So if you're going to some place where you may not be around a charger, you could get a second battery to have handy, or you can also get a charger that goes along, one of these little portable power bricks. But overall, I'm going to give this one a recommended as long as you understand the caveats, which are it's a much smaller screen than a lot of people are used to right now. But the performance I found was more than good enough for doing emails, texting, even watching videos, and understand that it is a little bit thicker and it's a little bit heavier than a lot of people are used to, but you can drop it, and you can drop it into water and it's not going to break on you. So that is a major cool thing, especially depending on where you're planning on using it. Overall, again, for the $250 unlocked price point, the fact that it's a 2-SIM card, the fact that it's nearly indestructible, I like it a lot, and will definitely give this one a recommended rating. Again, this has been a review of the RugGear, RugGear, RG500 unlocked cell phone. I am Darren O'Neill. Thanks for watching.